أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا قيما لينذر بأسا شديدا من لدنه ويبشر المؤمنين الذين يعملون الصالحات أن لهم أجرا حسنا ماكثين فيه أبدا وينذر الذين قالوا اتخذ الله ولدا ما لهم به من علم ولا لآبائهم كبرت كلمة تخرج من أفواههم إن يقولون إلا كذبا فلعلك باكع نفسك على آثارهم إن لم يؤمنوا بهذا الحديث آتنا عجبا إذ آوى الفتية إلى الكهف وقالوا ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا وضربنا على آذانهم بالكهف سنين عددا ثم بعثناهم لنعلم أي الحزبين أحصى لما لبثوا أمدا نحن نقص عليك نبأهم بالحق إنهم فتية آمنوا بربهم وزدناهم هدى وربطنا على قلوبهم إذ قاموا فقالوا ربنا رب السماوات والأرض لن ندعو من دونه إلها لقد قلنا إذا شططا وأولئك هم اتخذوا من دونه آلهة لولا يأتون عليهم بسلطان بين فمن أسلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا وإذ اعتزلتموهم وما يعبدون إلا الله فأووا إلى الكهف ينشر لكم ربكم من رحمته ويهيئ لكم من أمركم مرفقا وترى الشمس إذا طلعت تزاور عن كهفهم ساعة اليمين وإذا غربت تقرضهم ساعة الشمال وهم في فجوة منه ذلك من آيات الله من يهدي الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا صراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Amen. I greet every one of us tonight that are with me right now and those that will be joining us later as the program progresses. Likewise, those that have no opportunity of joining us live but be viewing the program after today. I say unto all the free thinkers, those that are not Christian or Muslim, they are referred to as free thinkers. They don't believe in anything at all. Even at times, they don't believe that God existed. I say unto you and the Christian as well, likewise the idol worshippers or the atheists, I say unto you, the peace of the Lord be upon you all. On that note, I say unto the Muslims that are here with me right now and those that will join us later, I say unto you, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now tonight, as the topic is the origin of Ileya festival. Though at times this topic might not be necessary, but for the fact that the Christians believes that the Muslims partakes in idol worshipping, that we say believe in shedding of blood, as they believe that shedding of blood will clear their sins. The blood of Ileya ram is not meant to cleanse anybody's sin. Maybe I should clear that, because there are some pastors that tell their members that Ileya ram is for sacrifice. It's a taboo that none of them should eat when they are being given as a gift. So we need to clarify some things tonight so that the whole wide world will know the Ileya festival is real and it's not a taboo. It's a commandment from God on anyone that believes in God. On anyone that believes in God. Though the Christian claim to believe in God anyway, but I'm going to analyze some things tonight. I'm going to explain the Quranic aspect, likewise the biblical aspect of it, and the reason behind all these propagandas against Ileya festival by the Christians. I said Ileya ram is not meant to cleanse anybody's sin, nor the blood. If you check the Quran, In Quran chapter 22, verse 37, Allah said to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we need English. I don't know. I'm going to manage yourself. Quran 22, Surah Al-Hajj, verse 37. For you to know that the blood that is going to be shed on the 28th of this month.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Allah said to Muhammad, verse 37,
والبد لن ينال الله لحومها ولا دماؤها.
Allah said, it's not the meat, that ram, they were about to shed his blood on the 28th of August 2021. Though that's the day being picked anyway. It might be 21 or 19, but it depends on the announcements from Saudi Arabia. But as of today, it's 28th. I don't know tomorrow. No, we are not debating about the dates. But that very Ileya festival, because this is not the first time, nor second time, it has been on for the past thousands of years. Even before the advent of Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ileya is being celebrated. But for what purpose? Does God need that blood? Not the meat. Why the ram? Why the shed of the blood? Is it for a purpose? Let's hear what the Quran says. Allah said, land. Allah said, it is not the meat, nor their blood, the meat of the ram, nor cow, nor goat, nor sheep. It's not their meat, nor camel. It's not their meat, nor their blood that reaches Allah. I think you are getting that message. God said, the meat you share among yourself, not the blood you are going to pour out from that ram, from that camel, from that cow, from that goat, will never reaches God. God has no business with the meat nor the blood of that cow. So it's not special. There's nothing special about the meat nor the blood of that ram. But what Allah needed from you is this.
ولكن يناله التقوى منكم.
But your piety, the fear of Allah, to follow the commandment of God is what He needed from you.
ولكن يناله
That what will reach Him.
التقوى منكم.
The piety of God is what God requires from you, not the blood, not the meat. You can now see that Ileya festival, killing ram, shedding blood is not it's not for anybody's sin. It's not to cleanse anybody's sin. It's not a sacrifice. It's not a sacrificial lamb for anybody's sin. And That is what God said to the Israelites. When they felt that killing ram for their sin will cleanse them, God said, no. You have been misguided. No. That's not the point. In the book of Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 21 and 22, hear what God said to the Israelites. So for you now tagging the Muslims as an idol worshippers, you are making a hell of mistake. For you being debarred from eating Ileya ram, you are making a mistake. Ileya ram is to allow anybody to be happy. For charity, that's just it. It's not meant for any other purpose than that. Look at how God said to the Israelites when they are being misguided by their leaders.
My people.
And they misheard God. They misunderstood what God is requiring from them.
My people.
God said, my people.
Some sacrifices you burn completely on the altar.
All the sacrificial lamb you were burning on the altar.
And some
you
are permitted to eat.
Eat some of them. But
what
God requires from you,
the Lord says,
what the Lord requires from you
is that you might as well eat them whole. I gave your ancestors no command.
I didn't order your forefathers
about burnt offerings
to burn offering
or any other kinds of
to
sacrifice.
Make any sacrifice unto me
when I brought them out of the
when they are being rescued from Pharaoh in Egypt. But
I did command them.
What I commanded was this:
to obey me.
To do what? To obey God.
So that I will be their
to
God.
Engage in piety. To believe in God. To fear God. So that if they do that, I will be their God.
And they will be my people.
And they will be my people. So the same thing applies here. Ileya ram is not a sacrificial ram for anybody's sin. So note that. Now, let me now go back to the Genesis. You see, I told you earlier on that this topic, to me, is not needed. But for those Christians who might have no knowledge as to what's going on, because they listen to their pastors, the Ileya ram is a taboo. Don't touch it. It's a sin on you. If you are being given, don't eat. That's why I want to make those clarifications tonight. And that's what I'm even telling you, that no, don't mind the Muslims. Was it the Ishmael that was meant for that job, nor Isaac? I'm going to clarify those things tonight as well. So we have, in fact, I don't know, although maybe, I'm not sure I can finish the topic tonight. Because I'm going to read a lot of biblical verses and some Quran verses as well. And I'm going to analyze one after the other. Now, what's Genesis of Ileya festival? It started from Abraham. You know, Abraham was barren with his wife, Sarah. Though Sarah meant to be his younger sister, according to the Bible. But there are some things we need to ponder tonight. Because when I go through the Bible, I met a lot of discrepancies. Now I'm very sure pastors are here tonight. And I implore everybody that are here tonight to please, if you're on Facebook, share the program. If you're on YouTube, share the program as well. Please share. We need to enlighten every Christian and some nominal Muslims that are yet to understand what Ileya is all about. Because I know there are some Muslims last year or some years back that partake in their festival. But today, they felt it's a taboo. They don't even remember it at all. God, they felt that they've given their life to Christ. And with Christ, you don't need any sacrificial lamb for anybody. Is that? No. Say the journey started from Abraham with his wife called Sarah. When they are moving out, though we have two different stories here, in which I'll implore every pastor that are here tonight and those that will be joining us on this program to please answer one or two questions by the time we open our lines to call in. Now, when Abraham was about to cross a border, now which border? Is it the border of Egypt or the border of another town entirely? Now, let's look at the two stories. In the book of Genesis, chapter 12, from verse 10 to 20. You see, it's a very long story. I mean, a very long verse that we are going to read tonight. So if I don't read that verse, my point will not be cleared. Look at what happened. Genesis chapter 12 from verse 10.
But there was a famine in Canaan.
There was a famine in Canaan.
And it was so bad that Abraham went further south to Egypt.
He now moved because of famine from Uriel down to Egypt.
To live there for a while.
To live there for a while. Abraham moved from Uriel to Egypt. He migrated from Canaan land to Uriel to Egypt.
To live there for a while.
To live there for a while.
When he was about to cross the border into Egypt.
When he was about to cross the border into where? Egypt. According to Genesis chapter 12 from verse 10. He was about to cross the border into Egypt.
He said to his wife.
He said to his wife, that's Sarah now.
Sarai, you are a beautiful woman.
You are so beautiful.
When the Egyptian sees you.
Look at this. Look at the point there. The subject. When the Egyptian sees you,
they will assume that you are my wife.
They will assume that this beautiful girl, beautiful woman, she must be your wife.
And so they will kill me and let you.
So their culture in Egypt back then was that if anything happens like that, the husband will be killed and the wife will become the king's wife. That's the order of the day in Egypt, according to Genesis chapter 12 from verse 10. You know, I'm echoing the chapter, so I will not mix up. You not mix up the two.
Tell them that you are my sister.
Tell them that you are my sister.
And because of you, let me live and treat me well.
They will let me live and treat me well. That's the plan between Abraham and Sarah.
When he
now crossed the border
into Egypt, the Egyptian did see that his wife was beautiful.
As usual, they saw that Sarah was beautiful.
Some of the court officials saw her and told her, King, now beautiful, how beautiful she was.
Yeah, continue.
So she was taken to his palace.
She was taken to the palace.
Because of her, the king treated Abraham very well.
Is it palace or Pharaoh?
Palace.
Okay, palace. You are going to say palace. Palace.
Because of her,
the
king treated Abraham well and gave him flocks of sheep.
You can see
goats, cattle, donkeys, slaves, and
When-
camels.
When the king saw her and knew that, felt that the lady was Abraham's sister, he now accommodated Abraham
well,
and treated him very well,
and gave him
and gave him
flocks of sheep
a lot of sheep
and goats,
and goats, cattle, donkeys, slaves,
and camels.
and camels. He was given slaves and camels. But unfortunately, according to, where is the verse?
This is verse 16.
Verse 16. Okay. Now, according to King James, he said, and he entered Abraham well for our sake, and he had sheep, oxen, and asses, and men servants, not slave. Not slave. The difference between servant and slave. The difference between servant and slave. Men servants and maid servants. But that's not the point anyway.
But because the king had taken Sarai, the Lord sent terrible diseases on him, on the people of the palace.
Now, that king is called Pharaoh. That's the title of the Egyptian king. Pharaoh of Abraham is not the same Pharaoh with Moses. Pharaoh has been the title of that throne. It's like Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́. Aláàfin is not a name of the Baba Aláàfin himself. Baba Aláàfin is called Lamidi. Ọọ̀ni of Ifẹ̀ is a title. Is that seat title? So a royal title. Likewise, Pharaoh. Pharaoh is a royal title, not the title of the name of that king. Now, the Pharaoh of Egypt. Continue.
All right.
Verse 18 now.
Then the king sent for Abraham and asked him,
Pharaoh now sent for Abraham and asked him,
what have you done to me?
what have you done to me?
Why?
Why?
Didn't you tell me that she was your wife?
You ought should have told me that this lady is your wife.
Why did you say that she was your sister?
Why did you tell me that is your sister? Why?
And let me take her as my wife.
And I took her as my wife.
Here is your wife.
Take your wife.
And take her and get out.
Get her from here.
The king gave orders to his men.
Yeah.
So they took Abraham and put him out of the country together with his wife and everything he owned.
That was the end of the story there. That was the end of the story there. You can see there's nowhere Abraham said she's my. There's no clarification here. He hasn't cleared anything. It's your wife, it's my wife. Okay, no problem. Why do you tell me it's your sister? Abraham didn't clear anything here. He just kept mute and go away. But in Genesis chapter 20, because I want to believe we have two stories, that Abraham crosses two towns and two things happens. I want to believe, because in Genesis chapter 20, from verse 1 and 2, 3, then 10 to 12, let's hear the story.
Abraham,
or from verse 1, let's see the story.
Abraham moved from Mamre to the southern part of Canaan and lived between Kadesh and Shur. Later, while he was living in Gerar, he sent that his wife Sarai was his sister. So King Abimelech of Gerar had Sarah brought to him. One night, God appeared to him in a dream and said,
the same story that happens to Pharaoh in Egypt also happens to Abimelech. I want to believe this is different stories. Not one. I need a pastor to clarify this part for me. Maybe these are two stories. Or is it Abimelech in that scene, or Pharaoh in that scene? Let's hear the story.
One night, God appeared to him in a dream and said,
they've crossed the border, right? Now, they've arrested Abraham and Sarah. And this is Gerar, not Egypt. Now, this is Gerar, not Egypt. Maybe they are being arrested twice. A theologian should explain this to me and to the whole wide world tonight.
You are going to die because you are taking this woman. She is already married. But Abimelech had not.
It was God that as God appears to Pharaoh in Genesis chapter 12 from verse 10, the same story happens to Abimelech here in Gerar.
But Abimelech had not come near her.
Yeah.
And he said,
Lord,
I am innocent.
I am innocent.
Will you destroy me and my people?
Are you going to destroy me
and my people?
And my people.
Abraham himself said that she was his sister.
That is, Abraham lied to me that this lady was his sister, not his wife. I didn't know.
And she said,
with what they are doing, what Gerard did in the sight of God is right. By taking anybody's wife and kill the husband. That's their culture. The same culture that happens to Abraham in Egypt. The same that happens. God appears to don't touch that woman. You've been touching any other woman. You are free to do that. But this one, look at how God qualified Abraham.
Abraham himself said that she was his sister.
Abraham lied to me.
And she said the same thing.
She said the same thing. The woman said the same thing. That I'm his sister. It was Abraham that nurtured Sarah to say, you are my sister. And Sarah agreed that I'm his sister. Abraham said, it's my sister. Continue.
I did this with a clear conscience.
I did it with a clear conscience.
And I have done no wrong.
I've done no. The king was telling God, I've done no wrong now. I didn't know that it was his wife. I wouldn't have touched her. But he would have killed Abraham to take his wife. Look at this. Look at the mentality. So God allows those things for them.
God replied in the dream.
In the dream, God now said to him, Yes. I
know that you did it with a clear conscience.
You did it with what? Please, what is clear in that conscience? Is that not a taboo? How can you just take anybody's sister and sleep just like that? You see your sister, okay, come. Go on my bed. No dowry, nothing. Can you imagine that culture that God allowed according to the biblical story? Imagine. Continue.
So I kept you from sinning against me and did not let you touch her.
So I didn't mean he has been touching others. It's not a sin. According to biblical story, it's not a sin. He can touch anybody's wife and kill the husband. It's not a sin. It's not a sin. But because it was Abraham, it's a sin. Can you imagine that? Because it was Abraham, it's a sin unto Abimelech. But to others' wife, kill the husband is not a sin. Continue.
But now, give the woman back to her husband.
Give the woman back to her husband.
He is a prophet.
Can you imagine? He is a prophet of God. Abraham was a prophet of God.
And he will pray.
And he will pray for you.
So that you will not die.
So that you will not die.
But if you do not give her back,
if you do not give his wife back to him,
I warn you.
I warned you
that you are going to die.
You can do another person's wife.
You and all your people.
But Abraham, my prophet, don't do anything to that wife. Return the wife back, or else I'll kill you and destroy your nation.
Early the next morning.
Abimelech
called his officials.
Abimelech called his officials, his king palace,
what had happened,
and revealed everything. What transpired between him and God last night to them all.
And they were terrified.
That was this. They are so terrified. That was this. What happened? Why? Because they've not seen those actions as a sin to other, or it's not a sin to other men's wife, but it's a sin to a prophet's wife. So prophet is special. He's not a man.
Then Abimelech called Abraham.
He now called Abraham and asked him,
What have you done
to
us?
What have you done to this nation of ours?
What wrong have I done to you
Imagine the question. What wrong have I done
to you?
Because I didn't kill you. Have I wronged you? Why do you lie to me? Look at the response of Abraham.
What have I done? What wrong have I done to you for you to have bring this disaster on me and my kingdom?
Can you imagine?
No one should
committing a sin.
What you have done to me, why did you do it?
Why did you? Look at the question. He was questioning Abraham now.
No one should ever,
why did you lie to me?
No one should ever do what you have done to me. Why did you do it?
Why did you lie to me?
Abraham answered,
that she's your sister. Why you know it's your wife? Why you lie to me?
Abraham answered, I thought that there will be no one here who has reference for God, and that they will kill me to get my wife.
And because I knew. You see, look at what happened in Genesis chapter 10, chapter 12, from verse 10. While he was telling his wife that this is their culture. That's why I said, this very act, is it twice or once? Because in chapter 1 from chapter 20 from verse 1, that story is not there. We just felt that he moved from one place and go out. He didn't tell his wife the full story. So you can get the full story in Genesis chapter 12 from verse 10 to 12. But here, he now said, I knew that this line is corrupt. If I should say the truth, that this woman is my wife, I will be killed. And took her away. That's why I said she's my sister. Now, look at the other point. Continue now.
Now, Abraham answered, I thought there will be no one.
There's no one here.
Who has reference for God.
Who feared God.
And
who reference to God.
And they will kill me.
And they will kill me.
To get my wife.
To get my wife.
She really is my sister.
Now, King, let me tell you the truth. Though, to say the fact, I didn't lie to you.
She really
I didn't lie to you.
Is my sister.
She is my sister. Which means Abraham married his blood sister. Is that not a taboo? You mean the father of Abraham, he will explain how she was his sister.
She is the daughter of my father.
Which means Abraham's father married two women.
But not of my mother.
Not of my mother.
And I married her.
Another woman gave birth to Sarai. And I married her. We are of the same father. So if I should call her my sister, I'm right. My wife, I'm right. 2 in 1. Is that proper? Is there anyone in the Bible that's ever experienced that? Even Noah has not married to his sister, sorry, or Enoch or anybody before Abraham. Why should it be Abraham, according to the Bible, that will marry a blood sister? And that's not a taboo in Christendom. Though this story has nothing to do with the Christian anyway, but just for enlightenment, because it's between the Jews and the Muslims, not even Nazarenes, between the Jews and the Muslims. That's where the point of contention is, between the Jews and the Muslims. Now, we've cleared that. These two stories, are they different two scenes or one? Is it with Pharaoh or with Abimelech? Is it in Egypt or in Gerard? Christians, please, I need a solution to that. Now, Abraham was unable to father any child with Sarah. He now got to a stage that Sarah is now fed up with those sin that she cannot give birth to children. Then he now called his husband. Another sin entirely now. They've escaped from Abimelech, likewise from the so-called Pharaoh. We don't know which one is real. Either Pharaoh or Abimelech. But that's not the point. Now, they cannot bear children. He now got to a stage when Sarah now got fed up. He now called his husband. Another story that needed a question mark to be answered by the Christians tonight. Genesis chapter 16, from verse 1 to 4.
Abraham's wife Sarai had not borne him any children. But she had an Egyptian slave woman named Agar. And so she said to Abraham, the Lord has kept me from having children. Why don't you sleep with my slave?
Why don't you sleep with my slave, according to Good News Bible?
Perhaps.
This is a Good News Bible I'm reading now. Maybe you don't know. Good News Bible. Can you see? Good News Bible. Continue.
Yeah. Why don't you sleep with my slave?
It was an order, an advice from Sarah to Abraham. It was not from Agar that felt that let me sleep with my master. Let's call him master now, so that there will be no much argument. Slave or no, I don't even need that. We are going to clear that later. Maybe not today. Now said, he now gave, continue.
Why don't you sleep with my slave? Perhaps she can have a child for me. Abraham agreed with what Sarah said, so she gave Hagar to him to be his concubine.
Can you imagine that? According to Good News Bible, Sarah gave Hagar
to
Abraham
to be his concubine.
To be his concubine. Not a wife. His concubine. But according to King James version of the Bible, this King James. This King James version. Verse 3 said, and Sarah, Abraham's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abraham had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave to her husband to be his wife. According to King James version. Check your own. The question is Agai wife or concubine to Abraham? No, answer that question. I know you all believe in King James. Definitely, Abraham had another wife called Agai, not concubine. You see, though Good News has some problem anyway, likewise King James Bible. Is he wife or a concubine? Because Good News mentality was that no one is allowed to marry more than one wife. That was the interpreter has agreed to use the word concubine. To the extent that when Sarah died, Abraham married another wife. But Good News did not agree that it's a wife. Good News did not agree that it's a wife. He agrees a concubine. Open Genesis chapter 25. Verse 1 and 2.
Abraham married another wife.
Okay.
Abraham married another wife.
Is it wife?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go to First Chronicle. First Chronicle chapter 1 verse 32. First Chronicle after King.
Abraham had a concubine.
Abraham had a concubine
Named Keturah.
Can you imagine? Look at the mentality. And the same Keturah, according to Genesis chapter 25 verse 1 and 2, in the same Good News Bible.
Abraham married another wife whose name was Keturah.
Can you imagine? In the same Bible. Even in King James Bible as well. First Chronicle 1 verse 32. I read, now the son of Keturah, Abraham's concubine. And the same King James Bible. You see, it's a pity for those Christians that believe in the Bible. On the judgment day, you are going to answer a lot of questions, unanswered questions. There's no answer. Look at the same King James Bible. Genesis 25 verse 1. Then Abraham took another wife, and her name was Keturah. Wife. But in Chronicle, it was a concubine. Is Abraham Keturah a concubine or a wife? Look at the mentality. Look at how they play with your intelligence. So Chronicle did not show that Abraham can marry another wife. It's a concubine. That's not even the issue. Now, the same applies to Agai here. In Good News Bible, Agai was a concubine to Abraham. What is called concubine? Is concubine is it legal or illegal? Of course it's illegal. Had it been Sarah had no knowledge of what transpired between Abraham and Agai, that is called concubine. But it was Agai, it was Sarah that brought Agai to his husband, that Mr. Abraham, please go into her, with her own authority. So Agai is not a concubine, he's a wife unto Abraham. That's not even the story anyway. But I just want to clarify that we are not sure, according to biblical record, either Agai was a concubine or a wife. That's the Bible anyway. Now, you now go to a stage that the relationship now get ongoing. In the same Genesis chapter 16, from verse 8, Agai now got pregnant. The story now changes again. Look at what the Christian God describes Ishmael, unborn child. From verse 8, Genesis chapter 16.
And said to Hagar, the angel of the Lord met Hagar
from verse 7.
At a spring in the desert on the road to Shur.
You know, when Hagar got pregnant, normally, you know, jealousy will emerge for sure. It might emerge from Sarah. Normally, a pregnant woman will misbehave at times. That's normal. That's normal. I cannot avoid that. Now, you know, Sarah now saw the actions in Hagar that he now felt she felt is on top of the world. Sarah now reacted negatively to Hagar. Hagar now felt it in the house and ran away. She ran out of the house because the house is not comfortable for her to live anymore. Because Sarah will not allow her to live due to what happened. She's been impregnated by his husband and she felt uncomfortable with her. So threatening her now and then. Now the lady now got fed up. She now ran away. On her way out, the angel of the Lord now appeared unto her and stopped her.
And said,
look at that conversation.
Hagar, slave of Sarah, where have you come from and where are you going?
Where are you coming from? The angel did not know anyway. And where are you going?
She answered.
She now answered the angel.
I am running away.
I am running away from my mistress.
He said.
The angel now replied.
Go back to her.
Go back to her.
And be a slave.
And go and be a slave.
Then,
a housemaid. Not slave, housemaid. But I don't want to delve into that.
Then he said.
He now said.
I will give you so many descendants that no one will be able to count them.
The angel now said to Hagar, is it the angel or the Lord? Read again. Is it the angel or the Lord? Because the angel cannot give child. It's not possible.
Verse 7. The angel of the Lord met Hagar at a spring in desert on the road to Shur. And said, Hagar, slave of Sarai, where have you come? Where have you come from and where are you going? She answered, I am running away from my mistress. He said that the angel said, go back to her and be a slave. Then the angel said, I will give you so many descendants that no one will be able to count them.
Can you imagine? Can the angel give anybody descendants? Can the angel of the Lord? Because according to King James Version as well, in verse 9, he said, and the angel of the Lord said to her, return to thy mistress, and submit yourself under her hand. Verse 10, and the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, and it shall not be numbered for multitude. Can the angel of the Lord promise man such? No. Those are the biblical fallacies. The angel cannot do anything on his own. It's only God that can do all those things. Maybe although they are mouthpiece of God to man, we're supposed to say, God shall do this unto you. But that's not the point anyway. Continue. Verse 11.
Now, verse
11.
11 now. You are going to have a son, and you will name him Ishmael, because the Lord has heard your cry of distress.
The Lord has heard your cry of distress.
But
you now refer to Lord now. that what God sent to me. So all what the angel was saying is from God. That God will multiply thee. God will do this. That's why he now said, he now correct that impression.
That the Lord has heard your cry of
your distress. Lord has heard your cries of distress.
But your
sons
will live like a wild donkey.
The Lord said to the angel that go and tell that guy that this very son of yours will live like a wild donkey. Despite God has had a cry in distress. The same God now put a spell on the unborn child. What kind of God is this? Wow. Unborn child. Can you imagine that? And the Christian will now come out and say, because the Muslims, they are so wicked. No. If we are, it's your God that caused this. What have you done to your God to deserve that? We've not offended you. Unborn child. Unborn child. Your God now put a spell on unborn child who is here to come to this world. He has not abused anybody. He has committed no sin. But your God said he will be a wild donkey. Wild.
And it will be against everyone.
And look at the prophecy. He will be against
everyone.
Why? It is not our fault. It's your God's fault. Who has put a spell on unborn child? An innocent unborn child. Your God said it will be a wild donkey. It will be against everyone. And everyone will be against him. What has he done? What offense has he committed in his mother's womb? In his mother's womb. What offense has Ishmael committed? To should have deserved such a curse from your God. Can't you reason? But where should God? What has the boy did? Okay, agreed. Maybe his mother, but has offended his master. Okay, a master. But what's the offense of the son, unborn child? Than for your God to put a spell on that innocent child. Unborn child. So any other stories now, just be careful. You can see what happened. Any other story that has to do with Ishmael now, you have to be careful. Because we've seen in Genesis that there's hypocritic act from his birth. Any other thing that has to do with Ishmael, we have to be careful. Okay? Now, that's that. You see, the reason why I'm saying all this, I told you earlier on that the Christians had no business with Abraham nor tonight stories. But the fact remains that they thought we are making sacrifice and tell their congregation, lied against us. That's why I'm putting this to them and reading from their Bible. In Quran chapter 3, verse 65, look at what Allah said about Abraham. I don't know the business of the Christians or anybody about Abraham. 65. Yeah.
Ya ahlal kitabi lima tuhajjuna fi Ibrahim.
Allah said, oh you people of the book, why do you argue? God said, people of the book, the Jews, Why do you argue about Abraham?
وما أنزلت التوراة والإنجيل إلا من بعده.
Allah say, oh you Jews and the Nazarene, why do you argue about Abraham? Was look at the question. Was Torah the book of Moses, nor Injil the book of Jesus, came before him or after him? It was after him. So what knowledge have you got about Abraham? Can't you reason? Can't you reason? So all these stories now is a mere partial story, because all these things are not there. All these were not written when he was alive. It's a combined stories, confirmed and unconfirmed, joined together to be Bible, even to be Injil, even to be Torah, because they cannot say exact thing that happens between Abraham, Agai, Sarah, Isaac. They don't have a cogent knowledge as per the story. Now let me continue. The same Quran chapter, same 3 verse 67 now. Go to 67. Yeah.
ما كان إبراهيم يهوديا ولا نصرانيا.
Allah said to Muhammad that Abraham was never a Jew nor a Nazarene.
ولكن كان حنيفا مسلما.
But a friend of Allah and a Muslim, a pious man and a Muslim. So Abraham was a Muslim when he was alive. He was never a Jew, nor was he a Nazarene. Leave Christianity, is not even part of it. They are Christian. No, leave Christianity. Because Jesus was not even a Christian. So why do you have to relate Abraham to Christianity when Jesus himself was not a Christian? So I will now be relating Christianity to Abraham. No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. Now, to verse 68 now. 68. The same Quran 3, verse 68. Yeah, 68, 368.
إن أولى الناس بإبراهيم.
Allah said without doubt. Allah said without doubt, among men, the nearest kin to Abraham, those that are near to Abraham among men, are those who follow these prophets. Allah Akbar. God said those that are follower of Muhammad were those that has access to Abraham. We are the Abraham descendants because we follow Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's what the verse is saying. Those that believes that follow Abraham were really Abraham descendants.
Okay.
Those that follow Muhammad. Now let's now go back to the full story. Now they've given back to they'll give back to Ishmael now. I will now see how the story got started. We've seen that he will be a warrior. Unborn child will be a warrior. He will be fighting all over the world. That's what the Christians are claiming today. That's why we are warrior. It was your God. That wicked unborn child. According to your Bible. You can tear it away. Genesis chapter 16 from verse 8 to 12. That is what your God said about. Now, in Genesis chapter, I think you should take from verse 20. I'm coming. Okay, I'm coming. I'm coming. Now, when Ishmael was being given birth to, he got to a stage, Genesis chapter 17. Take on verse 1, 2, 3, 4, then to 7.
When Abraham was 99 years old.
When Abraham was 99 years old.
The Lord appeared to him and said.
The Lord, you know, all the stories were not needed. This is where we are going. When he was 99 years old, the Lord appeared unto him. So he has given birth to Ishmael then. Ishmael was about 13 years old when God appears unto Abraham. Continue.
I am the Almighty God.
Yeah.
Obey me and always do what is right. I will make my covenant with you.
Look at it. I will make my covenant
with you. And give you many descendants. Abraham bowed.
He has given birth to Ishmael before God said this. It was not before Ishmael. It was when Ishmael was alive. Isaac is yet to be born. Isaac is yet to be born. Because between Isaac and Ishmael, it was good 14, 15 years. Between 14 to 15 years interval, years that among them. Now, continue.
Abraham bowed down with his face touching the ground.
Yeah.
And said. And God said, I make this covenant with you. I promise that you will build the ancestor of many nations.
I promise you that you will be the ancestors of many nations.
Your name.
That's a promise unto Abraham by God.
Your name will not long be Abraham.
Before it was Abraham. Abraham. A-B-R-A-M. But God now changed it to Abraham. Abraham. Now, between M now, it will be H-A-M. Abraham. Because
I am making you the ancestor of many nations.
I'm making an ancestor of many nations.
I will give you my descendants.
Yeah.
And some of them.
You know, he has promised one covenant before. Now, we now see the covenant he has promised before the birth of Isaac.
I am making you the ancestor of many nations.
Yeah.
I will give you many descendants.
Yeah.
And some of them will be kings. You will have
some of them will be kings. Some of them will be what? Kings. Kings. So the question will now go back when I go back to who will produce those kings. Because in Israel, the descendants of Isaac were not kings. It was the descendants of Ishmael that were kings. Let's continue.
You will have so many descendants that they will become nations.
Nations.
I will keep my promise to you.
I will establish my covenant with you.
And to your descendants.
And to your descendants.
In future generations.
As an everlasting covenant.
I will be your God.
I'll be your God.
And the God of your descendants.
And the God of your unborn child.
I will give to you and to your descendants this land in which you are now.
That's a promise.
A foreigner.
That's why there's a prayer I made. The promised land, the covenant. I think it was in Yoruba language. I don't know. Okay, it's in Yoruba. Okay. That very land, the Bible thought God did not fulfill his promise. Read that portion, verse 8 or verse 9.
That's verse 7.
No, that very land.
Okay.
I think that's verse.
I will give you.
Verse 8.
I will give to you and to your descendants.
To your descendant. That's a promise of God.
This land.
This very land you are, the Canaan land, the fertile land in the whole wide world. I'll give it to your descendants. That's a promise of God.
In which you are now.
In which you are now. That is Canaan land. But according to the book of Acts of Apostles, chapter 5 verse 7, they felt that that promise was not fulfilled, in which it was fulfilled. How can God make promise I will not fulfill?
5:7.
Can you imagine that? 5:7 as an apostle.
About 3 hours later.
5
hours later.
No, 7:5, have you? 7:5. Acts chapter 7 verse 5. As an apostle, chapter 7 verse 5. Not 5:7, 7:5.
God did not. Then give Abraham any part of it.
Any part
of it.
Of the land.
As his own.
As his own.
Not even a square meter of
Not
ground.
even a square meter of ground.
But God promised to give it to him.
But God promised to give it to him.
And that it will belong to him.
It will belong to him.
And to his descendants.
And to his descendants.
At the time.
Made
this promise.
God made it in Genesis chapter 16 verse 9. They felt that God did not fulfill that promise because the land does not belong to the Israelites. They thought that promise is on Isaac. That's the point I'm making now. They thought that promise should lie on Isaac. They now look elsewhere that the promise that was not given to us. But God promised us, but they misheard God. They forgot that it was Ishmael that was in this sin. Isaac was here to be born. He's here to be born. Then why should God will not fulfill his promise? Of course he did. The land he has promised Abraham is in Mecca. That's the Canaan land Abraham lived it when he was alive, before they migrated. That was the land. That was the land. If you don't know, that was the land. God fulfilled his promise. He has not deviated from his promise. He never failed his promise for once. Continue. No, Genesis. Genesis chapter 16 now. No, 17. Sorry, 17. We're reading 17 now.
God said to Abraham.
God said to Abraham. Verse 9. Think from verse 9.
God said to Abraham. You also must agree to keep the covenant with me.
Yeah.
Both you and your descendants in future generations.
And your descendants in future generations. Which covenant?
You and your
descendants.
Must all agree to circumcise. Every male. Among you. From now on. You
can see. Meanwhile, it was only Ishmael that was alive then. From now means now. Any male that is around you, either you got born to them or not, you must sacrifice. You must make them to go through circumcision.
From now on.
You
must circumcise every baby boy.
Every baby boy.
When he is 8 days.
When he is 8 days old.
Including slaves.
Slaves born.
In
your house.
And slaves bought.
And slave born. That they were being bought from the foreigners.
This will show that there is a covenant between you and me.
You can see, this will show that we have an agreement between God and Abraham. Continue. Each
one must circumcise, and this will be a physical sign to show that my covenant has not been. My covenant with you is everlasting.
It's everlasting.
Any male.
So whoever proclaim Abraham must be circumcised. Whoever proclaim Abraham must be circumcised. Male, not female. There's no female circumcision. I don't know where they got them from. I heard some Muslim scholars saying rubbish. Female Muslim circumcision. For where? Where is it written? Where part of the Quran said we circumcise female? It was a male. Because it was between God and his male child. Continue.
God said to Abraham.
God said to Abraham.
You must no longer call your wife Sarai.
He now changed Sarai name. It was called Sarai. S-A-R-I. R-A-I. But now S-A-R-A-H. From now you call him Sarah.
From now
not
on,
Sarai.
Her name is Sarah.
Continue.
I will bless her.
I will bless her.
And I will give you a son by her.
For you to know that Isaac is here to be born. God now said to Sarah that I promise Sarah as well.
I will bless her.
I will bless her.
And I will give you a son by her.
And I will give you a son
by her.
By Sarah.
And I will bless her.
And I will bless Sarah.
And she will become
the mother of nations.
And there will be kings among her descendants.
There will be kings among our descendants. Not all. Among. You see, there's a foul play here. I'm coming. There's a foul play. There's a where? Foul play. The foul play will be known after this section. Continue. Which chapter is that?
17.
17.
We are now in verse 17.
Because I said there's a foul play. Okay. No, let me. Verse 16. And I'll bless her and give her a son also of her.
And
I will bless her, and she will be a mother of nations.
And there will be
kings of people shall be of her. You can see, which means among his generation shall be kings. You know, when he was talking about in the first instance, he didn't mention anybody's name. Let me take you back to where kings was mentioned. In Genesis 17, verse was it by 4 or verse 5? I'm coming. You blah 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 blah. Covenant. We read king. Okay, leave that. Let's continue. Continue. Verse 17 now.
Abraham bowed down with his face the ground.
Touching the ground.
But he began to laugh when he thought.
He now laughed that I'm 99 years of age.
Can a man? My
wife is 89 years of age, because the interval between Abraham and Sarah was 10 years. Abraham was 99, Abraham was 8, Sarah was 89. He now laughed that how can a old man and a old woman that are not even menstruating give birth to a child at this old age? Continue. That's why he was laughing.
Abraham bowed down with his face touching the ground.
Yeah.
But he began to laugh.
He now laughed. When he thought,
Can a man
and
have a child.
Have a child.
Is 100 years
when
old.
you can see, he's now 100 years old. Sarah is now 90 years old, which means how many years will be? What's it called? I'm calling Ismail. Then it should be around 14. We'll calculate. Don't worry. The calculation will be easier. Don't worry. Continue.
Can Sarah have a child at 90?
You can see, Sarah is now 90. Abraham is now 100.
Is he asked God, why not let Ishmael be my heir?
Now, what they want to point it out now is this, about this very Ileya festival now. Now, the commandment between God and Abraham now said, no, let Ishmael be my child. I'm okay with that. Look at the response of God unto Abraham.
But God said,
God now said,
no. Your wife Sarah will bear you a son.
Your wife Sarah will bear you a son.
And you will name him Isaac.
You will name him Isaac.
I will keep my covenant with him.
Look, I will keep my covenant with Isaac.
And with his descendants.
And with his descendants.
Forever. It is an everlasting covenant.
It's an everlasting covenant. Continue.
I have heard your cry.
I have heard your cry.
About Ishmael.
About Ishmael, your firstborn child.
I will bless him.
Look at the promise. I will bless him.
I will bless him and give him many children.
I'll give him many children.
And many descendants.
And many descendants.
He will be the father of 12 princes.
Can you see? Do you get that? The father of 12 princes. So he will not be father of kings. He will be princes. Now, in the whole wide world today, for you to know that this is biblical fallacy, where on earth Israel became kings? Do you have king in Israel? Kings. Where? Even before the advent of Jesus, there was no king in Israel. They were being ruled by the Romans, king. They are princes in Israel, while they are kings in Arab nations. They now interchange, giving princes to Ishmael and giving kings to what? To who? To Ishmael, to Isaac. They interchange. Let me check this Bible. Because King James also said princes. Maybe I can see a Bible that will support me on that on what I've just said. James chapter 17, verse 20. James 17, verse 20. Said, and for Ishmael, I'm reading Women Devoted Devotional Bible. As for Ishmael, I've heard you, and I'll surely bless him, and I'll make him fruitful, and I will greatly increase his numbers. He will be the father of 12 rulers. Are you lying? Kings, not princes. Kings. Devotional, Women Devotional Bible was study. We don't know either kings or princes. That's Bible for you. Let me look at this, the living Bible. The living Bible. Let me check. Genesis 17. Bible is so funny. It's a funny book. One will now compare Quran with the Bible. Can you imagine that? Genesis 17 verse 20. Let me check this, the Living Bible. I read. And as for Ishmael, all right, I will bless him just as you have asked me to do. I will cause him to multiply greatly, became nations. 12 princes and 12 princes. I know it's a dead Bible. rulers, 12 rulers shall emerge from Ishmael, kings. That's all the Arab world. They have king in Oman, king in Jordan, king of Saudi Arabia, king in where? Iran, Iraq. They are all kings. They don't have princes, they are kings. When the king is on the throne, they now have a crowned prince. That after this king died, they will be the next king. There is always a crowned prince. So why should your Bible tell us God will give him princes? Why princes? Not even rulers. Let's continue. Verse 21.
Verse 21.
But by my covenants I will establish.
But I will keep my covenant with your son.
You see, that is the bone of contention. They've forgotten that God promised 2 covenants. There is one for Isaac. There is one for Ishmael. That's what they don't know. That's what the writer of the Bible don't know. And they knew it from the Genesis chapter 1, 17 from verse 1. God promised 2 covenants, not one. Not one. Even when you are reading verse 20, look at what God said. He said, and as for Ishmael, I've had thee, and I'll bless and make him. That's a covenant. God made covenant with his Ishmael as well. And the same thing with Isaac. But in order to convince the whole world, to confuse the whole world that Isaac is all in all, that's what they've written. But my covenant, will be with Isaac. Lies. Let's continue reading.
That's verse 21.
22 now. Okay, the same 21.
But I will keep my covenant with your son Isaac, who will be born to Sarah about this time next year.
He's here to be born. No doubt about that.
When God finished speaking to Abraham, he left him. On that same day, Abraham obeyed God and circumcised his son.
No, which verse are you reading now?
Verse 3 now.
Okay. And Abraham.
On the same day, Abraham obeyed God and circumcised his son Ishmael and all the other males in his household.
You can see, he circumcised Ishmael and other males that were not for him. The slaves that were male were also circumcised on the very day. Continue, 24.
Abraham was 99 years old.
You can see, Abraham was 99 years old. He was not 100 then. He was not 100. He was 99 by the time God is relating with him. But the problem is, the Bible has a problem. Look at when he was promising him. We were told in verse was it 20 or 17? I'm coming.
20.
Is it 20? No, the age of Abraham.
Okay, that's verse 24.
No, not 24.
That is the age. Abraham was 99 years old.
I know. No, in verse 17, read verse 17.
Okay. Abraham bowed down with his face touching the ground, but he began to laugh when he thought, can a man have a child when he is 100 years old?
Now, you know what happened? Abraham was telling God, because God has promised by next year you have son. But when he was promising Abraham, he was 99 then. Now, which means between that 99, by next year 100, Ishmael will be 14 years. That's my point. He will be 14 years. But at the age of 13, according to continue, verse 24. Abraham was 99 years old.
Abraham was 99 years old
when
he was circumcised.
25.
And his son
Ishmael
was 13.
They
were both circumcised.
On the same day. Which means circumcision took place between Abraham, Ishmael, and other households that were male. By 100 years, that was a year later, Isaac was given birth to. No, look at the correlation now. A year later, which means Ishmael was 14 years when Isaac was given birth to. Now, the problem now is when God called on Abraham to take his son for sacrifice, how old was Ishmael? How old was Isaac? I'll tabulate the whole thing for you now. That the Bible that said, take your only son, was a lie. It was due to that covenant that the first is one. That's why they manipulate the whole story to favor them, to favor the Christians. All these are not done by the Jews. The Jews have no business with all this. It was Christians' interpolation. They deliberately change it while putting down all these things as their own Bible. If you go back to normal Torah, you can never find such. Look at what Quran told us. In Quran chapter 37, from verse 100 to 113. It might be where I will stop tonight. By next week, Wednesday, by the grace of God, we are going to continue. Maybe we should, because this 10:30. The network is fluctuating badly.
Quran chapter 37.
From verse 100. Let's just read. I will suspend the second part till next Wednesday, inshallah.
Now, verse 100. Oh my Lord, grant me a righteous son. So we gave him the good news of a forbearing son.
Abraham requested for a pious son, and Allah gave him Ishmael. Ishmael, not Isaac. Ishmael.
Then, when the son reached the age of serious work with him, he said, "O my son, I have seen a dream that I offer thee in sacrifice. Now, see what is thy feel." The son said, "O my father, do as thou art commanded. Thou wilt find me, if Allah so wills, one of the steadfast." So when they had both submitted to Allah, and he had laid him prostrate on his forehead, we called out to him, "O Abraham, thou hast already fulfilled the dream. Thus indeed do we reward those who do right." 106. For this was a clear trial, and we ransomed him with a momentous sacrifice. 108. We left for him among generations to come in later times peace and salutation to Abraham. Thus indeed do we reward those who do right. 111. For he was one of our believing servants, and we gave him the good news of Isaac, a prophet, one of the righteous.
You can see, after promising fulfillment of what God has said to Ishmael and Isaac, God has said, "Don't worry, I'll give you another child." There's one child that is being covenant already before Isaac came to existence, I'm going to prove this from the Bible. That the man that was meant for sacrifice is not Isaac, it's Ishmael. But till we meet by Wednesday on the same program, on the same page, on the same time, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. If you have any question or contributions, you are ready to call in now. We are going to continue from air by next week Wednesday, inshallah. May Allah preserve our lives till then. So let me give maybe 2 or 3 people a chance to call in. The number to call is on the screen. +234 80 340 61900. Likewise, +234 80 2800 999. I'm expecting Mr. Omola to call in. I can see your right up here. One of his right up said, mind you, for all you Muslims here, Adegwa hasn't read the correct story from the Quran, no, but he switched to criticize the Bible. I'm still waiting for him to read the accurate story from the Quran. Don't worry. I'll read the accurate story. I've been reading it, but I'll read the accurate story. Normally, I've been telling the Quran is never a storyteller book. Allah will just point out some things you need to know about the story. That's why all the biblical stories jams one another. Because this is a story book. And it cannot be accurate. We need points, not stories. I'm expecting Mr. Omola to please call in. He said he's calling. Which number are you calling? Which number are you calling, Mr. Ola? Are you the one that called with ED number? I don't know. He said he has called twice. Maybe he was the one using hidden number. No, this is an hidden number. It's not MTN. The MTN I saw here was 080 3972 ended with okay. I think that's Mr. Ola from US. Hello.
Hello. Hello. I'm the one calling. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Ola Amola.
Internet call. Yes, it's an internet call. So the number will be roamed and it will make it private. So I'm the one calling. When you see private number,
okay.
And listen to the person calling. Yeah, just listen to the individual calling, not just ignoring the number. I've been calling severally. Okay.
Hello.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So my first question to you is that story, the accurate story of the life of Abraham, Isaac, and Ishmael, can you read it from the Quran for us?
I told you we have a second part of this show, which should be a continuation. It will be a continuation of this topic by next week. And that's why I referred to Quran 37 from verse 100.
I don't know. I listened to your Quran chapter 37 from verse 100 that you read. That story is nothing. It doesn't say anything.
Let him be next week. Mr. Ola, if it is nothing, let him be next week.
You don't wait till next week. You see, you said you are a scholar, right? When you read that story from the Bible and you want to compare, because you do comparative analysis, right? And you want to compare the Bible to your Quran, you will go to that same Quran and read the full story and bring out the differences in the story. That is how you do scholarly analysis.
You see, Mr. Ola, I've asked 2 questions at the inception of this program.
Mm-hmm.
You are now asking me the question that I must ask her by next week. There are some 2 questions on ground already.
You have to do it now.
I cannot do it now.
You read the Bible.
I cannot do it now.
Part of the Bible.
I cannot do it
Why
now.
don't you read it now?
I said
there
are 2 questions on ground as regards this very topic. You are now asking me the suspended topic. What should that be?
What is the suspended topic?
I spoke for 1 hour 30 minutes.
Give us the Quran version of that story.
I'll give it until you are going to wait till next week. You cannot command me, it's my program.
You give us the version now.
You have to wait till next week. Mr. Ola, that's the way I do it. You cannot control my program.
You will read the Quran and give us the full story.
Mr. Ola, I cannot give you any full story now until next week.
So you see that is hypocrisy.
That's hypocrisy. I said, but when I end the program, I told you, I said by next week I'm going to continue. That's what I promised. So
it's not simple.
It's not simple.
Give us where the full story is in the Quran. Give us where the full story is in the Quran.
I said go and read Quran 37 from verse 100. Go and read on your own.
Even before you call me,
until next week. That's what I said on this program.
Only Isaac was mentioned in that
let it be next week.
Ishmael was not mentioned.
Go and read on your own. Then come back by next week.
Ishmael was not mentioned in that.
I said come back by next week. Then we iron it out.
We will iron it out next week.
I have spoken for 1 hour 30 minutes.
You pick it. Don't
avoid
it. I called you yesterday.
Mr. Ola. Mr. Ola. I don't have your number, so I don't have your number. Don't tell me, don't pick your call. I don't have your number.
It's an internet number.
How would I know that you are the one calling? How would I know that you are the one calling? It's an Indian number.
Just when you say private, just pick the private number. I will identify myself as the one calling.
Are you the one using private number? You are not the only one now.
I said it's an internet number.
You know what I'm saying? Are you the only one using internet number? You are not the only one now. How many callers that use internet numbers? No, only you.
You shouldn't be scared of the number. Just pick the call and talk to the person. It's as simple as that.
Thank you very much. You know I have my own time.
It doesn't matter.
You cannot use your own convenience to inconvenience my own convenience here anyway.
So for you can give us the full story from the Quran tomorrow.
On this program, we have a protocol and you know it.
No, is it tomorrow or Saturday?
Which one?
So when like I said, I should call tomorrow. Are you doing a program
tomorrow? The continuation will be on Wednesday next week on the same topic.
Okay, Wednesday next week.
And now,
okay,
wait till then.
I will call you next week Wednesday.
No problem.
Let me ask you one question before
I don't know for all these Christians. I spoke for 1 hour 30 minutes. I asked 2 questions. He didn't even go back to that. Just clarification. When was the sin happen? Was it with Abimelech or with Pharaoh? Simple question. Or we have 2 different sins? No answer to that. The second question I asked was that was Agai a concubine or a wife unto Abraham? He didn't even dabble into that. He was asking me my postponed topic. Can you imagine? I don't know. That's Christian for you anyway. That is Christian for you anyway. Can you imagine? I must. Why must you control my program? Why must you cannot tell me what I'm going to do on my program. It's not possible. Hello, Mr. Ola. You want to answer my question now?
I'm calling you again. You are saying you are reading. You said you asked 2 questions. I said those questions you also asked. There were stories in the Bible, aren't they?
Of course they were.
Are they not stories in the Bible?
Of course they were.
I said you give us the Quranic version of those.
I told you wait till next week, Mr. Ola.
Give us the story.
Till next week Wednesday. That's 7 days from now.
You are saying Christians. I said give us the version of the Pharaoh story. Abraham that lied to Pharaoh. and Abraham that lied to Abimelech. Give us the Quranic version. Let's compare them.
That story is not found in the Quran.
But you said you asked the question. I think we are not running from the
I
question.
told you I'm confused from the biblical stories.
I'm saying
between years about 12
Quranic version of those stories.
And those stories are not found in the Quran. So Quran is not a story book.
Why are they not found in the Quran?
I don't know.
To tell you the story in the Quran.
I don't know.
Did Allah forget to tell you the story in the Quran? Remember, Allah said he's the best storyteller. He said
even the one he told you in the Bible, is it accurate?
The verses of the Quran are clear. So
Mr. Ola,
why can't you find them in the Quran?
Mr. Ola, even the story Bible, is it accurate?
What?
Is it accurate? The one in the Bible.
Give us the Quran.
That's why I told you.
My question.
Let's meet by Wednesday.
The Bible is not accurate.
Don't worry. All the stories I will shed light on those stories by Wednesday from the Quran.
Abimelech and the Pharaoh that Abraham lied to. Give us their version. Read it from the Quran.
My question is, which one is correct? Is it Abimelech or Pharaoh?
I said, give us the one that Quran told us about.
Please answer my own question first. Answer my own question first.
That's what I'm saying. Both of the stories are correct. Because let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because Muhammad in the Quran confirms the Bible. It confirms the Torah and the Injil. In fact, he swore on the Torah. In fact, are you
Mr. Ola
for confirming the Bible?
Mr. Ola, you are not new on this program now. Why are you saying all this?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you saying all this?
That's what I'm saying.
That the Quran confirmed Bible is.
Confirm the Bible or not?
And I ask you one day, the Quran never mentioned Bible. If you don't know, I've told you. Which one? Is it King James version?
What does the Quran mention?
Is it Good News? Is it Revised Standard Version?
Which one
is it Living Bible? Which one has he mentioned?
Confirmed in the Quran.
Which one? God confirmed Torah and Injil. Torah is not the Bible. Injil is not the Bible. And I told you are not even the one I promised. Don't worry. I want there is a topic I'm preparing. Injil, Torah in the Quran.
Look, it's not preparing. Don't prepare anything. Let us deal with this thing today.
You cannot deal with it today. Is that the topic? I'm not to deviate. My topic is the origin of Ileya festival.
Where do you get your own story that the Torah and Injil is not the Bible? Can you show
that is not tonight. That's not tonight topic, Mr. Ola. That's not my topic for tonight.
It doesn't have to be because you are not going there.
No. I'm not the one. I'm not the one going there. I'm not the one going there. I'm not the one going there. Don't deviate. Please, Mr. Ola, don't deviate. Let's meet on Wednesday.
I am following your line of argument, and I want to show you that you are not reasoning as a scholar. You are not talking as a scholar.
No, bro, you can abuse me. I'm not offended. I'm not offended.
Yeah, give us the evidence that the Bible is not the Torah. And
thank you. It's not tonight topic. I've done that. Go and watch my previous videos. I've done that.
I'm watching your program.
No, you didn't. You didn't. I've done that. I've done that. Go and read. Go and watch my video. Go and watch my video on is Injil the Bible.
Show us this evidence either Tuesday or Wednesday next week or Saturday. Can we deal with this thing this Saturday or Wednesday next week?
For what?
You have not done anything. Let's go through it. Me and you. Let's look at the evidence.
Can we? Okay, let's do it this way.
Evidence.
I think you thought. Wait, Mr. Ola.
Torah
Mr. Ola.
And Injil are not the Bible. Give us the evidence.
Mr. Ola. Can we choose a topic so that people will even know you? Put on Skype. Can you come on Skype?
What I want to do with you is question.
Can you come on Skype?
All your claims.
Mr. Ola, can you come on Skype?
Even, yes, I can come on. Even your Muslim colleagues, I don't agree with you with what you're saying.
It doesn't matter.
I don't agree with you.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So,
it doesn't matter.
Which day can I come? Which day can I come? And we are going to show evidences. Which day? Give me a date now. Everybody is hearing your live Facebook. Which day? When
will be chance? Is it Tuesday or Wednesday? But that next week is filled up. So I'm going to finish this topic.
Which day? Give me a date. I can pick any date. It doesn't matter. So give me a
okay,
date.
let's pick a date after Ileya.
Which day is after Ileya?
And let's pick a date.
Yeah, which day is after Ileya?
If it is Tuesday, it's going to be Yoruba. If English, Wednesday.
No, it will be Wednesday. I want it in English. I can't speak Yoruba French.
Let's pick a date there. Let's pick a date.
Which day is Ileya? So let me put the date on my calendar. So
let's choose a date. I'm coming. And we have procedures. So I'm going to tell the procedure tonight. We have procedures. I'm coming.
Yeah.
Let's check the calendar. This is a Google calendar. Calendar. Let's pick a calendar now. I'm coming now. Calendar. Where are you now? Now, Ileya
should not be restricted procedure because everything we have been saying now.
Ileya is.
I watch your program on Tuesday. I watch it on Wednesday.
Hello, Mr. Ola. Let's pick a date now.
Oh. I'm going to play back everything you have said, and we are going to deal with them.
Mr. Ola, let's pick a date.
Yeah, which day?
Now,
I'm listening.
Ileya is on the 20, either 20 or 21 Tuesday
of July, right?
Yeah. So Wednesday should be 28.
Wednesday 28. Okay.
Yeah, Wednesday 28. So what will be our topic? Let's discuss it now. What will be our topic?
Let's pick the topic.
Is that?
What's the topic?
The topic is the refuter of all your claims. That's the topic.
That cannot be a topic now. That will be a blind argument. That will be a blind argument now. No, that will be a blind argument.
Okay, let's call it question and answer about Christianity and Islam.
That's not possible. That's not a topic.
Question and answer.
That's not a topic now. That's an argument.
You don't argue here.
I don't argue.
Oh, yeah, pick your topic. Please give me a topic.
No, you are the one challenging me.
I am challenging you on all your claims.
But then your topic is okay. Can I pick a topic for you?
Okay, let me give you. Let's pick this topic: Christianity or Islam. Which one is true?
That's a topic. Christianity,
Islam or Christianity. Which one is true? And it's going to be question and answer.
No, it's not.
It's going to be question and answer.
No. No, you cannot do that now. You are matured enough. You want my program now? You have rules and regulations.
I have listened to all of your lectures. You have done all these lectures all over the time.
Hello, Mr. Ola. Hello. If you are being honest with your program, you've seen pastors that we discussed. Hello. Were you? Hello.
One of your students here.
Hello.
Question and answer. Mr. Adegungwa, listen to me. One of your students, I took him on question and answer. He ran away 3 times.
That's a student because he doesn't have to engage with question and answer.
When I show him the evidences, he ran away. He couldn't handle it. Let us do question and answer.
I can't do question and answer. It's not moderate. It's not moderate. We need to have a topic. Then that topic
will the topic. Islam or Christianity, which is true?
That is it.
That is what we want to do.
It's a debate. It's not a question and answer.
It's question and answer because you have said so many things.
I can't engage in question and answer. It's not possible. We are going to waste our time.
You're not a scholar.
You are going to waste my time. That is not how it is being done. My brother Ola, is not done that way. If truly you know what you are going to discuss, go and prepare yourself as against this. You deliver. I'm coming.
You ask me questions, I ask you questions.
No, it's not done that way. Go and look at everywhere, and it's not done that way. That's a mature way of doing debate.
That's the mode you now. Why you say it's not done that? Let's do it this way.
It's not my style. I don't do it that way.
It's not you preaching for 30 minutes. No, you're not doing preaching.
You are going to talk for 30 minutes.
And bring your evidence. Let me give you an instance. Like yesterday, you brought Afar. That's your Afar on the program live yesterday.
No,
they asked you one question about why do you people stone Satan in Mecca? Did you hear what the Afar said? You guys have you dismissed several ideas, but you know that that turning of Satan is very, very unreasonable and an absurd thing to do. But you accepted it in the pillar of your Islam, right? Those are the questions I want to ask you. And you should be willing to answer them. Then you come to the Bible, you criticize the Bible, you say the Quran is perfect.
Why are you judging me, Mr. Ola? How do I criticize the Bible? I don't even have time for that. If you are ready for a dialogue, I'm ready. You are going to pick a topic.
Have you played back everything you have been saying in your program?
Mr. Ola, Mr. Ola, if you are sure of yourself, let's pick the topic.
I am sure of myself. That's why I want us to do question and answer.
You don't do question and answer now.
Mr. Jamiu,
we are not together.
If you are not afraid, let us do question and answer.
I cannot do question and answer. It's not my style.
Yeah, that is if you are sure what you are saying. If you are sure.
Question and answer is not a reasonable topic now.
If you are a scholar, a Bible scholar.
What question and answer? On what topic? On which topic?
As I have been saying all over the place, let us do question and answer.
I'm not ready for that, please. Wàhálà sọ̀rọ̀ àǹtí láì.
Ẹjọ́ Alhaji ẹlẹ́mà nìyẹn kò náà.
English now, English. We are an English program.
Òun ló ní program ni.
We are an English program, please. Hello?
Send that Mr. Ola out of the line. You are the owner of the program. If you need any question, you should ask question direct instead of wasting our time.
And I even told him to let us pick a topic.
He want to teach you something or he want to learn
How
from
can
you.
you question and answer?
Those are the group of Akorede, whatever
you are
they
in
call
US,
them.
I'm in Nigeria, question and answer.
They are just online to destroy
online.
all comparators lectures on the YouTube. If they want program, they should go and establish their own and ask Muslims to come in.
Maybe that would be the best thing for him to do. What was it? Question and answer over what?
You are giving them chance too much. Too much.
I don't know.
They don't understand that book of Paul. They call it holy book. Which holy book?
No, he knew book. Now. Mr. Ola knew. He knew what he was talking about.
He knew. He just wasting your time. He has been calling you several times using unknown number, hidden number. He confessed now.
And now?
Then why allowing him again? Just delete him and block him. So when you start public program, let them call.
I don't know. No, it's not in Nigeria
please,
anyway.
Alhaji, I beg you. Ileya is near. Those people, they don't want to learn.
Don't know. Let's have a topic. Question and answer.
Please, Alhaji. And they'll be quoting Quran upside down.
You don't even understand the Quran.
If you are trying
to
explain everything to them, they'll be just, they'll just be turning up and down, wasting people this thing, data and whatever. Enough is enough, Alhaji. Okay, if you're allowing them like this, people will be thinking that no other people to call, you know.
No, it was these people are not calling.
If they should go to their shrine calling you in church. They should go to their shrine there or make the public this thing and ask Muslims to come and ask questions and answer.
They can't do that.
They will never do such thing.
They can't do that.
What is in the Bible? Nothing.
They can't do that. They can't do that. They are not.
I don't blame them. It's our brothers. The other brothers calling that Bible, Book of God, Injil is Injil. Look at this one. Next time, if people like that call, just give Jesus answer to answer them.
It's not right now. It's cool.
Salaam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm very sorry to.
No problem, sir. You see, at least he has been on with this program for a while now, and he knew our procedure. Why should we question and answer? Over what? No topic. Just question and answer. Ask any Christian that engages in such a thing. That is it to have common just question and answer. No topic. From one pillar to pole. His Bible word of God, his Quran word of God, his water this. So we are not going to answer any question. We just argue blindly. And I'm not in for that. I'm not in for that. Mr. Ola, I'm not in for that. If you are ready, let's pick a topic. He's calling me back now. Don't argue. I'll cut you off.
Answer any question.
Hello.
Mr. Adegunwa.
Have you agreed with the topic?
Mr. Adegunwa.
I'm hearing you, Mr. Ola.
Question and answer. You are
no,
a scholar. You should be able
I'm
to
not
answer
in
the
for
question
that. Thank you. No, I'm not in for question and answer alone. I'm in for topic. Let's have it. You've chosen a topic. Christian and Islam, which way out? Fine, that's a topic. Then we'll discuss. You bring your proof. I'll bring mine. Then question and answer will come in over that topic. So I'll be able to, at least people are watching us. We'll not waste people's time. Question and answer over what? Is the Kaaba there? Is Al-Masjid there? Is that quick? Is that maybe when you are in Nigeria, you let me know. We organize a public lecture. Me, I will deliver my own lecture. Then come for question and answer. But I must deliver my own topic for sure. Then we'll now be asking one another question. That will be on a public lecture anyway, not here because we are wasting people's time here. So until we meet by next Saturday on our regular Yoruba program, remain blessed. May Allah be with you and enrich you abundantly. Subhan Rabbika, Rabbil Izzati amma yasifun, wassalamu ala mursalin, walhamdulillahi kareem.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا قيما لينذر بأسا شديدا من لدنه ويبشر المؤمنين الذين يعملون الصالحات أن لهم أجرا حسنا ماكثين فيه أبدا وينذر الذين قالوا اتخذ الله ولدا ما لهم به من علم ولا